their smart uniforms, proudly showing off their skills and marching with precision like so many mechanical, brainless robots. And indeed, their brains had nothing in them other than thoughts of killing. The leaders are so proud, and the girls are thrilled at the sight of these brainless killers. They were continuously trained in killing people, not necessarily enemy soldiers. They were elite troops, equipped with the best weapons, and trained to kill in the most hideous way. They were taught how to creep up to an unsuspecting victim and slit his throat. There was no thought about the victim being as human as his attacker, most likely with wife and children, brothers and sisters. There was no thought that a moment ago he was alive and breathing, just like his attackers. He must be killed because he was the enemy. These elite special forces invariably undergo a psychological change. They became killers, pitiless killers. They look forward to wars so they can put their killing skills into practice. But for years there may be no war. They retire and try to take up civilian life, but they are trained murderers. The forces have released murderers in the midst of ordinary people. They will find difficulty to adjust, hardened and trained to look at killings as a vocation. They either become criminals, murderers, or psychopaths. Those soldiers who had to serve on the war front, fighting and killing and witnessing the horrors and becoming immune to the sufferings of others cannot but be psychopaths also. They will find difficulty to adjust to civilian life. They may become mentally deranged. In today's war, waged by the United States, the soldiers may be exposed to radiation, if not from nuclear explosions, perhaps from handling shells, etc., coated with or made from depleted uranium. They will suffer from radiation, sicknesses, and cancer. The people who send these young people to fight their wars will be safe. They will eat well, drink well, and enjoy life's luxuries. It is the young who will suffer, who will pay the ultimate price. The novelists, the television and film producers will concoct glorious stories of war and of heroes. It does not matter if they are blatant lies. It is good for making money. The US lost the war in Vietnam, but on the cinema and TV screens, Rambo would single-handedly defeat the whole Vietnamese army. And the Americans and their allies just love it. They will feel so proud seeing the exploit of a fictitious Rambo on the screens. And youngsters will be taken in with the pictorial glory depicted and would be persuaded to join the killers in the armed forces to gloriously kill and wound their enemies. The leaders of the countries with the finest team of killers equipped with the best arms would not hesitate to send the young people to their death based on fabricated lies. That was what happened in Iraq. But the people of these countries re-elected these liars so they may continue to send the cream of their young people to their death. That is what war really is. Not a glorious struggle for democracy and human rights, but merely to satisfy the crazy ambitions of lying leaders of the powerful countries. In old days, leaders and generals lead from the front. The cowardly leaders of today stay clear thousands of miles from the front, sipping wine and gorging themselves on the finest food. Even as we talk here, wars are going on in several places initiated by the bullies of the world. People are being killed and maimed. We need to make quick progress with the criminalization of war. It will not be easy, of course. William Wilberforce spent 20 years to get the British Parliament to outlaw slave trading nearly 200 years ago. But slave trading is nothing compared to the killings and the breaches of basic human rights in modern war. This is not to say that slavery and slave trading are less heinous than war. But the struggle against war is far more serious because every day newer killing machines are being invented by the rich and the powerful in order to kill more people. And the urge to try these machines is irresistible. Actually, these new weapons are bankrupting the nations of the world. To recover the cost of research, development and production, these advanced countries are selling their weapons to countries which can ill afford them. As soon as the weapons are sold to the poor, newer weapons would be invented, or the previous weapons would be modified and updated. Then the arms salesman would come around again. If a country refuses to buy, a neighboring country would be persuaded to buy. Then the salesman would return to the first country and broadly hint that if it does not buy, then his forces would be inferior to those of his neighbors. Even if the countries are not at war with each other, their military personnel would feel unhappy if they cannot have the new toys. And so, money that the poor can ill afford would flow to the rich countries. As the weapons are upgraded and newer weapons invented, the flow of money to the rich would become a deluge. The poor will get even poorer. The worst part is that the poor countries will probably have no occasion to use these sophisticated weapons, yet they have to be maintained at high cost while they give no returns at all to the poor nations. The arms trade is destroying the economies of many poor countries, yet the exporting countries are not benefiting either. They have to continue investing in research and development of newer and more efficient killing machines. The cost will mount and keep mounting as the new technologies and innovative designs require ever more sophistication and more expensive material. And if the powerful countries go to war, as America has done in Iraq, the cost to the country is mind-boggling. The cost of the war in Iraq or the US is estimated by Joseph Stiglitz, a Nobel laureate, to be more than US $3 trillion so far. It is going to go on gulping more and more money. Even the US cannot afford to lose this amount of money, especially when victory has not and will not be achieved. Imagine what we can do for the poor and the sick of the world with just a fraction of $3 trillion. And the whole world is suffering also. Everyone has to spend more money on security. Air travel is no longer safe, and lots of money have to be expended on checking the so-called Muslim terrorists. Far from wars against Iraq resulting in the spread of democracy in the Middle East, it has brought about the spread of instability and insecurity to the